You're watching Max Talks, I'm Max, and this is my mum's BMW M2 competition. A 400 horsepower two-door coupe that can fit 4 people quite comfortably, has a spacious boot, and we bought this car for a smidge over £43,000 2 years ago as a 1-year-old car. And I say we bought it, what we did was we did what everybody else did. We put it on a PCP and pay a monthly figure, and then at the end there'll be a balloon payment which you can either pay off and own the car, or you can then trade it in for something else. Now, this isn't a finance video, so I'm not going to dive into the various different options. I'll pop a link in the description down below where you can have a look at that. No, the reason I've made this video is because we've been thinking as to what to replace it with. You see, prior to this, she had an FK8 Honda Civic Type R, and before that, she had a Mark IV Mazda MX-5. So you can sort of see where the progression has gone. But now we've been kind of stuck in this situation as to what to replace it with. You see, if you go on Auto Trader and you put 400 horsepower cars that can seat 4 under £45,000 and is up to a year old, you have the choice of one solitary Ford Mustang. Even if we wanted another M2, the car saw a new model launched in 2023, and with that came a massive price hike. You see, the only way I've realised we can replace this car is to compromise on one of 4 things: price, practicality, age, or performance. So if we were to take a look at what's available with one of those compromises, what can you get? So I've just loaded up Auto Trader and I've set the parameters. So we're looking up to about £45,000, as that's what you would have got for an M2 competition for about sort of like 2-3 years ago. I've set it to 4 seats, petrol, rear wheel drive, and I've set it up to 2022 with 30,000 miles. Give it a little bit of leeway. And generally what you can see is you get BMW 230iM Sport, BMW 4 Series 420, just seems to be rather consistent. That seems to be all there's around. There's a BMW 8 Series there as well, an 840i, so, but very, very different kind of car. And don't get me wrong, the M240i is quick, you know, so you'll still do 0 to 60 in 4.3 seconds, but you are still losing a little bit of horsepower compared to the M2 competition. And do you really want to be going down in horsepower when you're driving the car like that? Probably not. You've got a Mustang there, but in fact when you actually go up and you actually look what makes and models are available, you've got Alfa Romeo, BMW, Ford, Mercedes and Toyota. So I can only assume with the Alfa Romeo you're looking at the Giulia Quadrifoglio. So let's have a look, see what you get there. So yeah, there's not even the Quadrifoglio. There's one Quadrifoglio which is a Cat S, which you would want to avoid anyway. There's another one here, but that's 50 grand. But we'll come to that later. And of course, I suppose with Toyota, you're probably going to be looking at the GR86. Yeah, GR86, which, don't get me wrong, fun car. A lot cheaper, but then you're also considerably down on horsepower. I think this thing's got about 230, 240 horsepower. So you're really not getting the same kind of car here. So I think it's fair to say that if you wanted everything the same as far as age is concerned, you are going to have to accept you're going to be losing some power. So yeah, of course, if you're looking at Aston, you've got DB9s, you've got a few DB7s, which are going to be even older. And then you've got, you know, the ads there with the expressor. You've got Rapide if you wanted a 4-door maybe, but again, you're looking at 2012 model. So there's some options there, but again, much older cars. Let's have a look at a few more. So got some Renaults in there if you wanted maybe go front wheel drive, but yeah, it's sort of like 1s and 2s, and yeah, you've not got anything there. Morgan, yeah, so you've got even then 2008 Morgans, but let's be honest, if you drive an M2, that's not really going to be your style. MGBs, you know, you've got Mazda have got RX-8s. So you can have a really late RX-8 maybe, but again, would you, you know, if you're in the 45 grand range, you're looking at R8, let's be honest. So yeah, so that's kind of where you're at if you were prepared to go a little bit older. Now, of course, if you're driving an M2, you do get the benefit of 4 seats. But what if, say, you don't really care for the 4 seats and actually you only use it as a 2-seater anyway? Well, that kind of starts to open things up a little bit. So here we've got an Alpine A110. Okay, it's a little bit down on the horsepower compared to the BMW, but it is a lot lighter. I think it's something like 400 kilos lighter. So you get very similar kind of performance there. So they've got one here, 2023, it's done about 13,000 miles, so that's going to be relatively comparable. Jaguar F-Type, albeit a 2-litre. You could get into a Toyota Supra, so there's one here, 2023, it's done just under 14,000 miles, that's at 44.9. So it's quite an interesting option. But you are into a B58 engine, it's not an M engine, but it is regarded as a rival for the M2. So, but yeah, it's not a proper Toyota though. It is a BMW based car. So you might like it for that. You might not like it if you're looking for maybe something a little bit different. Another 2-litre F-Type there. Another Supra, another Alpine A110. It seems to be that that's probably where you're going to be at, and of course you've also got the 2 Series there. I suspect if you probably went a little bit older with the F-Type, you probably would be able to get into maybe a V6. I mean, we just filtered it by model. Yeah, Alpine, BMW, Ford, Jaguar, Toyota. So yeah, I doubt you would probably get into an F-Type with a V6 or a V8. I think they're all going to be 2-litre. Yeah, they're all going to be 2-litre. But if I then took off from 2023, then yeah, you probably find that you've got a lot more choice, 122 cars. So yeah, then you're into, yeah, you could get into a V8 if you went a little bit older. So there's a Reims edition here, 27,000 miles on a 2021. So you'd probably be looking similar age to your M2, but you could argue that you are getting into much more car at that point. Another 5-litre V8 first editions. These are all sort of like the post facelift cars. You've got a few there. You've got another 2-litre. You've got an older one there, 2-litre. That's 27 grand. What else we got? 41 grand to get your 3-litre V6 checkered flag edition. So yeah, but again, you're sort of going to be somewhat restricted in what you can get if you're going the 2-seater route. I think if you were to maybe compromise a little bit on the performance, I think, you know, you probably could be also looking at maybe something like a Porsche. You could probably get into a Cayman or a Boxster, depending on whether you'd want a 4-cylinder engine. I doubt you'd get much. Yeah, I mean, there's a few GTSs. I don't think you'd get into a 4-litre at that price point. I think you are probably going to be looking GTS 2.5, so you're going to be looking about 360 brake. The engine doesn't sound great. If that is a big thing for you, then I'd probably steer clear of the 718s, but you'd probably be able to get into something like a 981 GTS. So there's one here with PDK. It's a 2015. It's done 24,000 miles. That's 44.5. So again, you're out of the realms of PCP with a car like that, but it does look like a really tidy car. As I say, the PDK gearboxes have a really good reputation, really sharp. You know, some would say they're probably the best gearboxes out there. But then, of course, will come the point where you might think, you know what, I still want that kind of performance. I still want everything that the M2 offers. At that point, you may just have to accept you're going to have to up your budget. So if you wanted the new generation BMW M2, let's take a look here. Yeah, if we search low to high, so yeah, you've got them there about 46 for a 3-litre bi-turbo there, 11,000 miles on 23 plate. You've then got another one here, 1,500 miles, 47. So they are going to be a little bit more expensive. You're nearer to 50 grand than you are going to be to that sort of 40 to 45 grand that you would have got with the old one. A little bit of inflation at play there, but the new M2 has dropped considerably in price when you consider it's like a 75 grand car, brand new now. But if we took that away, you do have some more options out there. But again, you are going to have to compromise somewhere. You could probably get yourself into a new Lotus Samira, cracking car. I've driven it. If it were my money, that's probably where I would go and spend it. I do think it is a mega car. Lexus, there's a couple of RCFs, the neo shape ones, but again, if you're going to be doing that, you probably would end up going M4. 5-litre V8 though, so it's not to be sniffed at, and you will get that bomb-proof Lexus reliability. But you will pay for it. I mean, 56 grand, as I said, you'd probably get a really nice current generation M4 competition for that. In fact, why don't we actually have a look to see what you would get for that? Yes, there's a lot of M4s there, the current gen. There's one here, it's done 9,000 miles, 23 plate. That's at 51. Yeah, so 22, you're in, so you'd avoid the Cat S's, but this one here, 47 grand for another one here. It's done 40,000 miles, so it's quite leggy. This one here, 20,000 miles and 22 plate. That's probably going to be better, but you are then getting into the realms where that car's going to start to be falling out of warranty. So you may want to renew it, but BMW warranties generally for M cars are traditionally a lot more expensive compared to its rivals, such as Porsche or someone like Lotus. BMW, for some reason, feel that M cars are worth that much more, and I guess if people are prepared to pay it, they can be prepared to charge it. So yeah, there's a number of different cars out there, but it kind of just makes you think that the M2 at the time offered a lot of value, and there's not really anything else directly like it on the market other than maybe the new M2. But with the new M2, it's a bigger car. It's based on the 3 and 4 series platform as opposed to the old 1 series platform that the previous car was built on. So it is a more bigger, it's a more grown-up car in theory, and it's sort of like on paper. It is a better car. It's got more performance than the old one, but it is a very different kind of drive. So yeah, that's kind of what's out there at the moment. Quite the conundrum, isn't it? So many choices out there, and what works for me and my mum might not work for you. And that's what I love about this industry, about this community, is that we can indulge in our passion for cars in so many different ways. So what would you go for? Would you go for something on my list, or would you go for something completely different? Let me know in the comments down below. As for me and my mum, we have made a decision as to what we're going to replace the car with. In fact, we've even placed a deposit and we'll be picking it up over the next few days. If you want to know what that car is, you're going to need to get subscribed and click the bell icon so you get notified when I load up that video. My jumper is a bit of a tenuous link to what that car will be, and I'm really curious to know if you can figure out in the comments down below, so let me know. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching. I'm Max, this is Max Talks, that's the BMW M2, and I'll see you on the next one.